वाहिगुरु साहिब जियो श्री नानक पद पंकज बंदन पद पंकज बंदन सिमरो अंगद दोख निकंदन श्री अमरदास हृदय नित त्यावो हृदय नित त्यावो श्री गुरु रामदास गुण गावो श्री हरि जन बिघ्नन के नासक बिघ्नन के नासक श्री हरि गोविंद शुभ सुमत प्रकाशक श्री हरि राय नमो कर जोरी नमो कर जोरी श्री हरि राय वाहिगुरु श्री हरि कृष्ण मनाए बहोरी गुरु तेग बहादुर परम कृपाला परम कृपाला श्री गुरु गोबिंद सिंह बिसाला तरो तरा तर पुण्य पुण्य सीसा तर पुण्य पुण्य सीसा बंदो बार बार जगदीसा तरो तरा तर पुण्य पुण्य सीसा तर पुण्य पुण्य सीसा बंदो बार बार जगदीसा जिसमें अमृत ज्ञान है मानक भगत वैराग श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब उदद बंधो करे अनुराग एक अंकारा सतगुरु तह प्रसाद सच होए वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह है विघ्न विनाशन सोए वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह है विघ्न विनाशन सोए कहाँ बुद्ध प्रभ तुच्छ हमारी बर न सकै महिमा जो तिहारी हम न सकत कर सिफत तुम्हारी आप ले हो तुम कथा सदारी हम न सकत कर सिफत तुम्हारी आप ले हो तुम कथा सदारी पतित पावन भगत वछल कृपा दे खजाने जोत स्वरूप चवर छत्र तख्त दे मालिक धन धन सतगुरु श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी महाराज की हजूरी विच बैठी साध संगत जी सतगुरु साहिब जी ने तरस करके सानू अपने चरणों दे विच लिआंदा है। साध संगत जी असी अमृत गुरबाणी का कीर्तन सरवण किया है। आओ हुण कुछ क समय लई असी गुर शब्द विचारां करिए। धन धन सतगुरु श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी महाराज किरपालता करन साडे सिर ते हथ रख के विचारां दी सांझ पाउण। धन धन सतगुरु श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब जी महाराज की हजूरी विच बैठी साध संगत जी बख्शो असीस। सारी संगत ने गज वज के आखना जी वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। गुरु रूप गुरु प्यारी साध संगत जी, we're so blessed to be sitting here in the presence of Tan Tan Satguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj at the first ever Youth Kirtan Darbar organized by the Sikh Youth Federation in Ottawa. If we just look over at Maharaj's Takht right now, there's so many beautiful things about Maharaj. Even just the Ramala Sahibs on top of Maharaj and the Shastra displayed in front of Maharaj. All of these things are so very beautiful. And there's so many beautiful traits to Maharaj. One of the most beautiful traits that Maharaj has is that Maharaj doesn't do mithiyan gallan. Maharaj doesn't beat around the bush. Maharaj doesn't have any secret meanings. Maharaj just tells you like it is. Maharaj is straight up. He tells us what he wants. We go to the Gurdwara, we do Matha Tek, we bow our heads down and we listen to the Hukamnama. And Maharaj just tells us what he wants. So today we're going to celebrate that truth that's in Tan Tan Satguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. One of the other great qualities about Maharaj is how forgiving he is. No matter how many bad things we've done, even in the past hour or the past day or the past week or in our entire lives, Maharaj has still let us into his darbar. He didn't stop us from coming in today, no matter how filthy we've been. Maharaj, he's always giving and giving and giving to us. But the question is, what do we give back to Maharaj? And the second question is, what does Maharaj even ask for in return? Well, since we've mentioned that Maharaj is straight up, he tells us exactly what he wants. Maharaj says, I want everything. He says, I want your heads. I want you to sacrifice everything for me. And that's what we call Kurbani. Now, it sounds funny to say, but Maharaj is an incredibly jealous lover. The kind of stuff that you can get away with your family and your friends and your significant others and all the people in your life, one call or text a day, that kind of stuff, that's not going to roll with Maharaj. Maharaj doesn't want anything halfway. He wants you to go all the way. He wants you to dive in. He wants our tan, man, tan. Tan, with a tatta, means your body. Your man is your mind. And your tan, with a tadda, that's your soul. And Maharaj says, give it all to me. So we come into Maharaj's hajuri and we do Matha Tek. And sometimes we forget what the meaning of doing Matha Tek is. We come in Maharaj's hajuri and we bow our heads down to the floor in his charan. The purpose of that is that you take your head down there and you leave it there. You leave it in Maharaj's charan because it belongs to him. But what a lot of us do is we do Matha Tek and we pick our heads right back up. We just take them back. When Maharaj says, give me Kurbani, give me sacrifice. When Maharaj says, give me everything, asi mukkar janne hain. We all back out and we get scared. How many of us actually give everything to Guru Sahib? In our Sikh history, it's shown that our Guru Sikhs have done this. Our Guru Sikhs, they have given their tan man tan to Guru Sikhi. They have put everything on the line. They have sacrificed everything that they have, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, everything. They've taken everything and they've given it to Maharaj. Now, before we get into the history of Guru Sikhs that gave everything and gave their Kurbaniya, if we just look over at Maharaj's Takht right now, that's Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj sitting there. But more than that, it's Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj sitting there. You have a lot of people who say that Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj was this saintly, holy, peaceful man, and that he just did bhakti all the time. He just did devotional worship all the time. And then as the Gurus changed, things became radical. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj came up with Miri Piri. We all started wearing shastras, and by the end of it, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj was a warrior. That's what people say. That as the Gurus changed, Sikhi changed. And that's false. Sikhi's been the very same since the very beginning. A lot of people will say that Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj and Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj are not one light. But Bhai Nandalal Ji says that they are one light. And Bhai Nandalal Ji says to the people who don't accept that they're one light, Bhai Nandalal Ji says, you are a fool. And you will never find Vaheguru like that. You will never find Vaheguru if you do not realize that Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj and Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj are the same light. And their light is the same light that's in Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said this pankti, it goes, Joto prem khilan ka chao, sir tar tali gali meri aao. If you wish to play this game of love with me, put your head on a platter and bring it to my gate. That's what Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj says to us. That's Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj, the one we all call saintly, peaceful, holy man. He was all those things. And then you have Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, who says in Twa Prasad Sahiye, he says, Saach ko ho sun leho sabay, jin prem kiyo ten hi prapayo. Jin prem kiyo ten hi prapayo. The one that loves Vaheguru will realize Vaheguru. That's what Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj is saying. That same message of love that Guru Nanak Dev Ji said when he said, Joto prem khilan ka chao, you want to play this game of love? Bring your head on a platter. That same message Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj is repeating years later because they're the same light. It's the same message. And you have Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj who in 1699 takes that exact pankti, Joto prem khilan ka chao, sir tar tali gali meri aao, and he forms the Khalsa. And he has the Panj Pyare bringing their heads on platters and sacrificing everything that they have for him. Sacrificing their tan man tan for him. So to those people who say that Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj and Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj are not the same light, Bhai Nandalal Ji calls you a fool. He says that they are. They are the same light. Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj was a Sant Sipahi, just like Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj was the same one who walked up to Babar and he called him a jabbar straight to his face. He called him a jalam straight to his face. He called him a papi banda. He said, Babar, tu papi banda ya. This is what's going to happen to you. He tells him that straight to his face. This is Babar. This is somebody who's committed monstrous crimes. He's an open villain. People hear the sound of his name and they're just scared. And you have Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj, a Sant Sipahi, going up to him and saying, tu papi banda ya. He says that straight to his face. So how can we say that Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj was different than Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj when they performed the same actions and they lived the same message of love and of dharam, righteousness? Then you move on to our fifth Guru, who we call Shahidan de Sartaj, Tan Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj, who was our first martyr, the prince of martyrs, who's doing the exact same thing. Giving up his life, giving up his tan man tan for righteousness. Giving it all up to Akal Purkh Vaheguru. Then you have our 10th Guru, Tan Tan Sadguru Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, who says in Vichittar Natak, Ham eh kaaj jagat moh aaye. I have come onto this earth for this purpose. Taram het Gurudev Pathai. The true Guru, Akal Purkh Vaheguru, has sent me here to spread taram, to spread righteousness. Jahan tahan tum taram bitharo. I have come to spread justice and to make sure that everybody is being treated correctly. Dost dokhiyan pakar pasharo. Those evil people, the tyrants, the sinful, the wicked, I have come to seize and destroy them. That's the message of Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj didn't come onto this earth to get married and have some kids and buy a bungalow or buy a nice car. He came to end evil and to end the tyrants and to destroy the tyrants. Then you go to Bhai Mati Das Ji, Bhai Sati Das Ji, and Bhai Dayala Ji. Bhai Mati Das Ji was sawn in half with an ara. You've probably seen the pictures. Saw going straight down from the top of his head. They put wooden planks at the front of his body and at the back of his body so he couldn't move, and they just sawed him right down the middle. But Tan Bhai Mati Das Ji, who was a Mahapurkh, who was a Brahmgyani, he's reading Japji Sahib as they're doing this. And even when his body hits the ground and they feel like they've accomplished their mission, the Japji Sahib still continues because that's the Shakti of Gurbani. That's the power of Gurbani. That's the power that Bhai Mati Das Ji had because he read Gurbani. So his body's on the ground, but it's still reciting Japji Sahib. And his body completes the Japji Sahib. You have Bhai Sati Das Ji, wrapped in cotton and burned alive. Bhai Dayala Ji, boiled alive in hot water. These were the 3 companions of Tan Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj, who we call Hind Di Chadar. What does that mean? What does Hind Di Chadar mean? The Chadar of the Hindus. That was Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj, our grandfather, who gave up his life for not our faith, but the Hindu faith, so that the Hindus could live freely and so that they could practice their dharam. So our father is Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. Our grandfather is Tan Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj, who was Shaheed in Delhi. Our great-grandfather is Tan Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, Miri Piri De Malik, who fought some amazing battles against the Mughals for us. Our great-great-grandfather is Tan Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj, who sat on a tatti tavi, Shaheedan de Sartaj, sat on a tatti tavi and was shaheed that way. So it's in our blood. This is our father, our grandfather, our great-grandfather, our great-great-grandfather. They are family. So it flows in our blood to sacrifice everything that we have for Guru Sahib, for Akal Purkh Waheguru. Giving up the tan, man tan. That's exactly what they did. They gave up. Shaheedi is, some people think of Shaheedi as it's physical. They're giving up their bodies. But it's a lot more than that. Somebody who doesn't read Gurbani, somebody who doesn't give up their mind, and somebody who doesn't give up their soul to Akal Purkh Waheguru, they can't give Shaheedi. It's not just for anybody. Shaheedi is for those who are willing to give it all up. That's our Sikh history. And they gave up everything for Sikhi. Now what are we doing? We're giving up everything for Maya. That's the negative Kurbani in all of this. Maya says, Manukha, I want your mind. And I want your thoughts. And I want your body. And what do? Jado Maya aandi hai, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਦੌੜੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, right? We all go running towards Maya. ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬੁਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਦੌੜ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ. We run so fast when the Guru asks us for something. We don't follow his message. Maya says, give me your mind. And we sit all day thinking about Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Hankar. We sit there thinking about lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. And we give our thoughts and our mind to Maya. We put our minds in the gutter to Maya. And we say, here, Maya, have our heads. And then our bodies. Maya says, conform your body. And we destroy our bodies for Maya. That's the negative Kurbani. But there's a positive Kurbani too. Maharaj says, sacrifice society's perfect version of a person for me. Keep your case for me. He gives us a solution. He tells us exactly what to look like. We mentioned before, Maharaj doesn't do mithiyan gallan. Maharaj is not going to lie to you. He tells you straight up, keep your case. And that's what will protect you from society's perfect version. Now, women especially can relate to this. Society's perfect version of a woman is nothing like what a Gursikh should look like. And Maharaj is saying that I'm freeing you from ever having to remove your hair from your body. And I'm freeing you from ever having to look like something that you don't want to look like. Maharaj gives us that gift. That's the positive Kurbani in all of this. The Kurbani towards Maharaj. And the Kurbani that we sacrifice when we sacrifice society's perfect version of a woman. Now, Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, he was a great warrior. The greatest warrior of all time, completely undefeated. And his mother was Mata Gujari Ji, Tan Mata Gujari Ji. Sometimes we spend a lot of time talking about our gurus, males. Talking about our Shaheed Singhs, also males. Let's just take a minute and talk about our mother, our grandmother, Mata Gujari Ji. Tan Mata Gujari Ji first loses her grandfather-in-law when Tan Sri Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj sat on a tatti tavi and is shaheed. She was married to Tan Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji Maharaj, who was beheaded in Delhi. by the Mughals. And she still, after losing her husband, still never strayed. She still never wavered. She still never wandered. Then she watches her son, Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, fight all these battles as a mother. And then she has to watch her 2 youngest grandsons be bricked alive right before her eyes. And she still doesn't stray. She still doesn't wander. She still doesn't waver. Now, how's that for sacrifice? How is that for giving up your tan, man, tan? When the Chote Sahibzade, they go for their shahidi, when they're entering the darbar of the Mughals, she says to them before they leave, this is Tan Tan Baba Jorawar Singh Ji and Tan Tan Baba Fateh Singh Ji, who are perfect. They are the sons of the Guru. They don't need to be told this stuff. But she tells them so that they can tell us, so that we can learn. Because we don't know. So she tells them, she said, "Idda na hove vi tusi ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦਰਬਾਰ 'ਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਦੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਗਵਾ ਲਓ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਛੱਡ ਦਿਓ." Don't go into their darbar and lose your sikhi. Don't go into their darbar and lose your love. And what do the Chote Sahibzade do? Tan Tan Baba Jorawar Singh Ji and Tan Tan Baba Fateh Singh Ji, they walk into that darbar and they do jakare. They walk into that darbar and they say, Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. And what are they saying? What are we saying when we say Fateh? Sometimes us, we do Tilli Fateh, Vaheguru Ji Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh, we just say it. And it doesn't mean anything. But this is our Fateh during tyranny. This is our Fateh that we say during evil. What does it mean? Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa. The Khalsa. The pure army of the Sikhs created by Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj in 1699. The thing that's going to free us from all the evil, the Khalsa. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa. That Khalsa belongs to Vaheguru. Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. The Fateh also belongs to Vaheguru. Fateh, the victory. Any victories we have, Maharaj, they belong to you. That's what the Chote Sahibzade are saying when they're saying the Fateh. That's what we should all be saying when we're saying the Fateh. Now the Chote Sahibzade, both under 10 years old. What happened to them? That was injustice. To brick alive children. And so what happened when that happened? What happened as a result of that was Baba Banda Singh Bahadur, when he found out about the shahidiyan of the Chote Sahibzade, what did he do? He marched on over to Sarhand and he knocked it down brick by brick. He destroyed Sarhand as a result of what they did. Because as Sikhs, we're not going to stand around while you kill, while you make these children under the age of 10, while you make them shaheed. We're not just going to sit there and watch. That's what Gur Sikhs should be like. You touch our Guru, you're going to get it. And that's exactly what the Mughals did when they made the Chote Sahibzade shaheed. So Baba Banda Singh Bahadur, he goes and he knocks down Sarhand. And then what do they do? For every action, there's a reaction. And so what do the Mughals do to him? They capture Baba Banda Singh Bahadur, Tan Tan Baba Banda Singh Bahadur Ji. They capture him. And they place him in a cage with metal spikes in it. And then they behead 100 of his men right before his eyes for an entire week. They take those heads and they display them all around Delhi. The heads of Baba Banda Singh Bahadur's men. Then, just prepare yourself for what they did next. They took his baby son, they put his baby son in his lap, and they attacked him to kill his son. They said, kill your son. This is a 1-year-old baby. They said, kill your own son. And Baba Banda Singh Bahadur refused, obviously. He wasn't going to kill his son. They said to him, will you eat meat? Will you drink sharab? Will you cut your case? Baba Banda Singh Bahadur still said no. So what do they do to his son? The executioner takes his son and cuts his son, his baby son, into tiny little pieces. They take this baby and cut it into tiny little pieces. And so once a person's body is dead, their heart still beats for a little while. So they take that beating heart and shove that in Baba Banda Singh Bahadur's mouth. And what does Baba Banda Singh Bahadur do? Nothing. He doesn't even move. He's completely unfazed. There's a pankti in Gurbani, it says, Tera kiya meetha lage. Everything that you do is sweet to me, Vaheguru. It's pana. Everything that you do, I will accept. Because I belong to you. Because I've given my tan man tan to you. And so he just sits there unmoved. So his son is now gone. Now, if that's not torture enough, for most people that would be more than enough torture, what do they do to him next? They take metal rods that heat up, they heat them up, shove them in his eyes. They pull out his left eye and then his right eye. Then they cut his hands off, left, right. Then they cut his feet off, left, right. Then they take pincers. You know pincers? They can pinch away, they pinch your skin. They take those, heat those up, and they pinch away at his flesh. And then, if that's not enough, they skin him alive. And then finally, they behead him. And throughout all of this, Baba Banda Singh Bahadur, his response to them is, Sanu ta maut pyari lagdi hai. Shahidi do sanu. Death, it's sweet to us. What is death to a person like Baba Banda Singh Bahadur who's drank Amrit? What is death to a person who's given their tan man tan to Sikhi, given their tan man tan to Tan Tan Satguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj? Life, it means nothing to them. Sanu ta maut pyari lagdi hai. That's what he said. So why am I telling you this? Because it is Sikhiya. This is what Sikhi is all about. Tomorrow, you feel like you're ready to take Amrit, and you go to an Amrit Sanchar and you take Amrit, and then a time comes in your life where you're asked to give your head. And you say, Sanu ta kisi ne dasya nahi. Nobody told us. I didn't know. That's why it's important to know that when you take Amrit, that's the commitment that you're making when you take Amrit. You're taking Amrit because you're saying that I'm ready to give it all up. The same way that we give up everything to Maya, the same way that we won't let our mind settle for even 5 minutes to do Simran. You know, you sit for 5 minutes, you're like, okay, I'm going to focus on Vaheguru. And the words come out of your mouth and you say Vaheguru. They're coming out of your mouth, but are you feeling them? The same way that Maya comes into our minds and we just let her grab us, and we just fall right into her and we dive into her traps. The Guru says the same way that you keep giving up everything for Maya, give up everything for me. That's what the Guru is saying. Don't be Qurban to Maya. And to not be Qurban to Maya, that doesn't just happen. That only happens through Gurbani. It is only through Gurbani that you can have the power to defeat Maya. Maya, she's like a two-headed snake. And what she's going to do is she's going to reel you in. She's going to give you happiness to get you in. And then what she's going to do, she's going to bite you so hard in the back. And you're going to cry so much, like you've never cried before. Maya, the thing that takes you away from Sikhi. Maya is lust, anger, greed, attachment, ego. All the things that are going to take you away. Dobida, dwat, irka, jealousy, duality, all these things. Lies, choot. All of these things that are going to take you away from Sikhi, that's what Maya is. And we do it every day. We give in to Maya every single day. But what does the Guru do? He says, Mere pyareo, it's okay. He says, Maya has hurt you. The Guru is going to pick you up when you're down, because Maya has kicked you so far down. The Guru is going to pick you up, and the Guru says, return home to me, where I shall shower you with my love. Return to your rightful home, where you shall experience the most epic love story you've ever seen in your life. That's what the Guru says. Guru says, come to me so that I can hold you in my chest as you cry and cry from all the pain that Maya has caused you, as you weep and weep from all the tears that she's caused you. Because when we're in Maya, we're dead. We're just dead people walking when we're living in Maya. So the Guru says, don't be Qurban to Maya. Now there's a story during the time of Dhan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj. And there were these two people named Indra Sen and Pai Chanda Ji. And these are two people who, they believe that they found what they're looking for, that they're almost there. They believe that they're on the right path because they're reading the Holy Scriptures and they're doing the breath control exercises and they're always wanting to be around good Sangat. So they believe that they found what they're looking for. They have this longing for Vaheguru. They have the thirst and they have the devotion. But they can't get their minds to settle down. And all they want is just to see Vaheguru. And so what does Dhan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj do? What does the Guru do when somebody needs him? In Gurbani it says, Charan saran, Gur ek penda jaye chal, Sat Gur kot penda agya hoy let hai. If you take one step towards the Guru will take 1,000,000 steps to welcome you into his court. He'll say, Aja putra, come into my darbar. Ji aaya nu. Let me protect you. Let me love you. That's what the Guru says to us. And so, wherever the Guru is needed, he goes. So Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj, he goes to meet Indra Sen and Pai Chanda Ji. And he turns to Chanda and he says, Chandaya, have you known Vaheguru? And Chanda, Pai Chanda Ji, he says, yes, Guru Sahib, I have known Vaheguru. That's why I always want to be around good Sangat. That's why I'm reading these holy scriptures. That's why I'm doing these breath control exercises. Because I have known the Guru. I have known Vaheguru. And Guru Sahib replies to him, once again, Sant Sipahi, Dhan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj replies to him, Oh Chandaya, you haven't known the Guru. You don't know the Guru. If you knew the Guru, you wouldn't be in despair like this. You wouldn't be stressed out like this. You wouldn't be nervous like this, and you wouldn't be anxious like this, the way that you are. Your mind would settle down if you knew the Guru. And so Chanda, the humble man that he is, he says, Guru Sahib, how can I meet Vaheguru? And Guru Sahib says to him, Chandaya, forgetfulness is the thing that's stopping you from meeting Vaheguru. When we forget Vaheguru, that's what stops us. In Gurbani it says, Saas, Saas, Simro Gobind. With every breath, chant the name of the Lord, say Vaheguru in your hearts. Make every action, every breath, every thought, every turn, every movement about Akal Purkh Vaheguru. He says forgetfulness is the veil between you and Akal Purkh Vaheguru. And Chanda, he says to him, so how do I do that? Like how? And Guru Sahib says to him, you have to remember that he is present. Kartar hai, mere andar hai. He says, remember that he's here. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere, he's inside of me. He says, you got to remember that. Guru Sahib turns to Pai Indra Sen, who's been listening, and he says to him, what is your ichha? What do you want to ask me? What are your doubts? What do you want? Kedi cheez di lod hai? He says to Indra Sen. And Indra Sen says, Maharaj, I've been looking for you. I've been looking for Akal Purkh Vaheguru for a long time now. And for many births, kotak janam betite pulle. In Gurbani, it says, bahut janam bichre the mado, ek janam tumhare lekhe. For many births, I have been lost. And I don't know what I've been doing for all those births. But this birth I dedicate to you. Darshan deo Maharaj. That's what Indra Sen says. Maharaj, show me yourself. I want to see you. And then Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj says to him, You want to see me? You want to see Akal Purkh Vaheguru? What are you going to give me? You're not just going to get Akal Purkh Vaheguru just like that. What are you going to give me? And Inder Sen says, Jo agya karo. Whatever you want, I will give you. And then Maharaj says, Sarbanch de deo. Sara kush. Give me everything. And Inder Sen replies, Hamra tan tanna. This house, this wealth, it's yours. Take it, Maharaj. Whatever you want, take it. And Guru Sahib says to him, okay, you gave me your house, good. You gave me your wealth, good. Now what else are you going to give me? What else is yours? And Inder Sen replies to him, he says, Eke sareer, this body is mine. Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj says, Ye bhi de deo. And then Inder Sen, Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj says, what else are you going to give me? Hor ki sarbanch de vich ya? What else is in all the things that you own? And Inder Sen says, my antahakaran, my inner self, my man, my buddh, my chit, my hankar, my mind, my understanding, my consciousness, and my ego. Those things are mine. And Guru Sahib says, Evi sarbanch de vicho hai, evi de do. Give those things to me too. Since they're yours, give them to me. And Inder Sen says, Sat Bachan Maharaj, lo. And then Maharaj says to him, Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj says to him, Hon pucho. Jo bhi puchna si, hon pucho. And Inder Sen goes on to ask his question, and Maharaj says, Bhai, hon ta tusi sara kuch sanu deta, fir ichha ka to karde hain. Why do you have these doubts? Why do you have these questions? You just gave your mind to me. It doesn't belong to you. Why are you thinking with it? It doesn't belong to you. This mind, in Japji Sahib says, Man jeeta jagjeet. Conquer your mind, you can conquer the world. This mind that gives us such a hard time, Guru Sahib says to Inder Sen, he says, all the things that make you anxious, Inder Sen, all the things that make you sad, Inder Sen, all the things that make you miserable, Inder Sen, all the things that don't allow you to sleep at night, Inder Sen, give them to me. I will take care of them for you. You don't have to worry about them. Just give them to me. Do matha take. Give them to me, and then you'll be fine. And Inder Sen, just like that, his overthinking and his doubts, they just go away. Guru Sahib says, this ego that's been bothering you so much, I'll take care of it for you so that you can fulfill your purpose. Guru Sahib says, ye jehdi main meri hundi hai, ye andro uthdiyan nahi. The main and the meri, the I and the me, the ego, another veil. This is a veil between you and Guru Sahib. Realizing that you are one with Maharaj is what's going to get you to Maharaj. Maharaj says, Man re, hum main shod guman. Oh my mind, give up this egotistical pride. Give up the ego. Har gur sarvar sev tu, pav hai dargah man. Serve the true Guru, and you will be honored in his court. Man. You will get man, you will get honor, power, you will get power. Pav hai dargah man, in his dargah, in his darbar, in the court of the Lord, you will be honored if you do the seva of the Guru and you renounce the egotistical pride. We move on to the Vadde Sahibzade, Tan Tan Baba Ji Singh Ji and Tan Tan Baba Jujar Singh Ji. And when they're about to walk onto the battlefield, their father, Tan Tan Satguru Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, he says to them, again, he doesn't need to say that to the Vadde Sahibzade, they're perfect. They know what they're getting into. But he says it to them so that we can learn, so that they can tell us. He says, once you walk into that battlefield, you don't walk back out. Baba Deep Singh Ji drew a line in the ground, and he says, once you cross that line, you got to be willing to give it all. Because Sikhi is an all or nothing path. You don't go halfway, you go all the way. And that's exactly what the Vadde Sahibzade did. There's no halfway with the Guru. Je agge jana, agge challo. Je nahi kare jao. That's what Baba Deep Singh Ji said. You want to go forward? Go forward. And if you don't, go home. We don't need you. We don't need people who are doing the halfway stuff. We don't need those people. We want the people who are ready to give their tan man tan, give everything to the Guru. And that's exactly what Singhs in the 80s and 90s did. This is not, oh my God, it was like hundreds of years ago, we can't relate. This is in our lifetimes. The 80s and 90s, this is our lifetime. For a lot of us, this is our lifetime. Singhs left their homes, they left their wives, they left their children, they left all the things that would matter, and they gave it all up for the Guru and they went forward. You had Sant Jarnail Singh Ji Khalsa Pindaran Wale, who used to say to the Singhs, Sant Jarnail Singh Ji Khalsa Pindaran Wale, he was a Surma. He was the son, he was the true son of Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj. Not like me, like, we do pakhand and stuff. He wasn't like that. Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj, his son was Sant Jarnail Singh Ji Khalsa Pindaran Wale. And Sant Ji used to say to the Singhs, this is how he woke up the Singhs. Be like, hunda tanu ki a? Roj tusi shittar kha ke aa janne a, fir tusi ithe aake roon lap panne a. Wake up. And Sant Ji woke up the Panth like that, through Gurbani and through Katha. That's the power that Sant Ji had, that he got from Gurbani. Bhai Surinder Singh Sodhi didn't sleep for 40 days. 40 days he didn't sleep. We pull a couple of all-nighters and we're like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Bhai Surinder Singh Sodhi was so in love with the Akal Purkh Waheguru, he was so in love with Gurbani that he could not sleep. You had Singhs who would sit from late night to early morning on the Prakarma of Darbar Sahib and recite Japji Sahib. 100 Japji Sahibs on the regular. We can barely get through one. And they were reciting 100 on the regular. You have Mata Harmeet Kaur, the wife of Shaheed Bhai Amrik Singh. She said that when 84 happened, it was like lights were coming out of the foreheads of these Sikhs. Their faces were glowing. And when 84 happened and all these things were together, the lights were shining so bright because nowhere in the entire world had so many magnificent souls gathered in one place. The world was about to be rocked when 84 happened. Because Singhs were joining with Tan Tan Sadhguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. They were giving up their Tan Man Tan and they were getting Shakti, they were getting power from Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. They were giving it all up. Now we can talk about the history forever. We have a great history. It's no surprise from Tan Sri Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji Maharaj, he says, Joto Prem Khilan Ka Chao, Sir Tar Tali Gali Meri Aao. Then it's no surprise that we've been through the kind of history that we've been through. When we have to give it all up for Akal Purkh Waheguru, then our history is not a surprise. It's not a surprise that we've had to give the Shaheediyan that we've had to give. But we can talk about the history. But what's important is our personal journeys. We should talk about Sant Ji. We should talk about 84. But we should also focus on our personal journeys. We shouldn't be Qurban to Maya. We should give it all up for the Guru. So we should do Ardas to Maharaj. Because Maharaj Kirpa Karan, we can't do it on our own. We have to say, Maharaj, put your hand on our heads, because we can't do it. Free us from all the things that chain us. All the things that chain us to Maya, free us from them. Give us a tan, a body that uses all its senses to see, hear, smell, touch, hear. Did I say hear? See, hear, touch, smell, taste. The love of Akal Purkh Waheguru. Use those senses towards that. Use the mind to only think about Akal Purkh Waheguru. And use the tan, the soul, to thirst for Akal Purkh Waheguru. Maharaj, give us these things. And once you give them to us, give us the power to give them right back to you. You've given us tan man tan that we've dedicated to Sikhi. Now give us the power to give it right back to you. Because it doesn't belong to us. That's what Maharaj wants. He wants us to give it all up. So we should do Ardas to Maharaj. Maharaj, please put your hand on our heads. Because we can't do it alone. And if you think that you can do it alone, there's the Maimedi again. The I and the me. I can do it. This is my world. I can do it. As long as you keep living like that, you'll never meet Akal Purkh Waheguru. Saad Sangat ji, गुरशब्द विचारां करदियां नेक गलतियां हो चुकियां ਹਨ अनजान बच्चे समझ के अखरवादा घाटा बोल चो माफ करनी जी. And Sad Sangat ji, just as we're finishing off, we're going to get back to the Kirtan. But before we do that, ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗਾਇਨ ਕਰੀਏ. And I want everybody to sing it. It's going to go up on the screen. And just everybody sing it. And there's translations too, so you can look at them. So that when we do ardas, we're not just doing an insincere, ingenuine ardas. Let's do it from our hearts. Let's truly put our heads right there and leave them there. So everybody sing along. Man tan tera, tan pi tera. 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 तू ठाकुर स्वामी प्रभ मेरा, तू ठाकुर स्वामी प्रभ मेरा. मन तन तेरा तन पी तेरा. मन तन तेरा तन पी तेरा. जियो पिंड सब रास तुम्हारी, जियो पिंड सब रास तुम्हारी. तेरा जोर गोपाला जियो. सदा सदा तू है सुखदाई. निव निव लागा तेरी पाई. कार कमावा जे तुद पावा. जा तू देह दयाला जियो. प्रभ तुम ते लहना तू मेरा गहना. जो तू देह सोई सुख सहना. जिथे रख है बैकुंठ ते थाई. तू सबना के प्रत पाला जियो. सिमर सिमर नानक सुख पाया. आठ पहर तेरे गुण गाया. सगल मनोरथ पूरन होए. कदे ना होए दुखाला जियो. मन तान तेरा तन पी तेरा. मन तान तेरा तन पी तेरा. तू ठाकुर स्वामी प्रभ मेरा. मन तान तेरा तन पी तेरा. मन तान तेरा तन पी तेरा. वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह.